Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in today's video I want to share with you a fantastic game played at 1937 USSR Championship. The event took place in Tbilisi. On the white side is Vasily Panov and his opponent is Mikhail Yudovich. Yudovich was also a strong correspondence player. He became Master of Correspondence Chess in 1961 and Grandmaster of Correspondence Chess in 1973, which means that he was able to devote hours and hours analyzing different positions. In this game we will see that yes, his home preparations was really strong and he manages to outplay his opponent in the opening. So, with this being said, now let's go for the game. Panov opened up with e4, to which Yudovich answered with e6. Black goes for fresh defense. Knight f6, bishop g5, bishop e7, e5. We see all the standard stuff, and h4. White goes for Alekhine-Chatard attack. A very aggressive line where white is sacrificing a pawn and is gaining a strong kingside attack. Usually the players are avoiding bishop takes g5 because then after accepting the pawn sacrifice you have to play accurately, and in our game we have f6 move. An alternative is playing a6, preventing knight b5 and then c5, something which is actually stronger than f6. With f6 you are weakening the king side too much, and this is not a novelty. Earlier this had been seen at 1974 New York tournament. It was Marozzi who for the first time made this f6 move against Yates. Bishop d3, a move suggested by Alekhine, although according to Stockfish queen h5 check is better. But now we will first go through the game and then I will turn on Stockfish and then we will cover some sidelines as well. White is offering the piece, but yeah, since this queen h5 is coming, it's very dangerous to accept the sacrifice. The upcoming positions are very complex, and yes, Stockfish is needed to cover those lines. Knight takes d5. White is playing very aggressively and is throwing all his anger at opponent's king side. Right now we have two empress pieces. Black accepted the bishop sacrifice, and there comes rook h3, switching the rook into the attack from the third rank. g4. Attacking the rook, covering the f3 squares. Knight f4, hitting on e6. A fork is coming, you can't touch this rook. And now what to play? Knight takes e5, neutralizing the threat, opening up the light squared bishop's diagonal. This is crazy, guys. D takes e5 and the rook on h3 drops. Bishop takes h7. In return, white is securing the g6 square for the knight. Rook takes h7. Black is giving up the rook and is deflecting white queen, after which there comes h2. This is crazy, guys. This is the f pawn. This is the same pawn which in the beginning of the game was standing on f7. The f pawn's progress is really impressive, right? So turns out that there is no way to stop this pawn right at the moment. The knight is hanging. What to play? You can't even castle queenside. The d1 square is covered by black queen. King e2, allowing this pawn to be promoted. There it goes on move 15. The second black queen appears on the board. There comes knight g6 check, king f7, knight h8 check, and queen takes h8. In order to neutralize opponent's attack, in order to neutralize this angry knight, black is giving up one of his queens. Knight c6, queen h5 check, king g8, knight h3. White is offering the rook on a1, but black didn't accept, played queen takes g2, so we will come back to this later. Queen e8 check, bishop f8, knight g5, and knight takes e5. Taking under control the f7 square and neutralizing the mating threat, right? There was this mate coming. That's why we have knight takes e5, c4. Yeah, this is already a desperation. Yes, white's position is lost. King f1 takes, king g1, queen g4 check here, and with a beautiful move, black forced the resignation. That move is bishop d7, black is sacrificing the rook. White resigned. In case you accept the rook sacrifice, this bishop b5 check is coming, and then queen e2 checkmate. After Vasily Nikolaevich shook Yudovich's hand, he said that the idea he invented was a good one, but still he considers bishop's move to d3 to be a good one. Now we are turning on Stockfish to see how good is bishop d3 or other moves. As you can see, according to Stockfish, the move suggested by Alekhine is not that strong and queen h5 check is stronger. Turns out that in case of g6, white has a brilliant g takes f6 move, and then here, and this position of course favors white. White is just doing great, you know. These are potential weaknesses, and it's going to be extremely difficult for black to hold this position, you know. And then knight h3, knight f4 can follow. Of course, this is a position that is very easy to play with the white pieces. Instead, we have a bishop d3 move by white. By the way, after g6, it takes f6. If a move like knight takes f6, then simply queen e2. Yeah, white is just doing great. This is even better. Okay, in our game we have bishop d3, the move suggested by Alekhine, and c5. As you can see, f takes g5 is not good because of this check, and then h takes g5, and white is getting a very dangerous kingside attack. Then this g6 is coming. Yeah, this is not good. That's why black played c5 and queen h5 check. King f8. As you can see, there is no g6 move because of this check. That's why we have king f8 and knight takes d5. Interestingly, Yudovich analyzed this knight takes d5 continuation. Yeah, it's a good move according to Stockfish, looks interesting. Black accepted the bishop sacrifice. If here, then e6 is coming with a mating threat, queen e8. And yeah, this leads to an equality. That's why. And the position gets really simplified, right? That's why black decided to keep the tension and at this point accepted the bishop sacrifice. Rook h3, g4, knight f4, knight takes e5. How good is knight e5? It's the top move. D takes e5, and only now black is accepting the rook sacrifice. So far white is also doing great, but turns out that the move which is losing is bishop takes h7. Yeah, better was castling queenside if here than here, and you are managing to stop this pawn, and then you can proceed with your attack. This is one of the possible lines suggested by Stockfish. This is crazy, right, guys? And then you are starting a king hunt, but this king is in safety. Moreover, Stockfish gives black advantage. And if g4, then simply king takes f4. Yeah, this is crazy, guys. A very, very complex position. And this queen is hanging, right? But if you accept it, then the new queen will appear. And yeah, now it's black who is doing great. And then queen takes h4. Yes, such an interesting position to analyze. Would strongly recommend you to turn on Stockfish and analyze these positions on your own. So bishop takes h7 was made in the game, which is a huge mistake, yes. And black very accurately gave up the exchange and then played h2. Now it's black who is winning. King e2, there comes the queen, check. White keeps on harassing black king, but there is no way out. And there comes queen takes h8. Turns out that you can also play king e8, right? King f8. Yeah, but in the end of the day, you have to... It turns out that you can even escape king e8, then king d7. But yeah, this queen h8 is allowing black to simplify. Check, king g8. A very, very interesting game. And then comes knight h3. What if we accept this rook sacrifice? Then it turns out that already white can give a perpetual check, right? And then knight g5. Now there is a mating threat. If here, then queen h5. Here, check. And yeah, this is a draw. Interesting. So Yudovich saw all this and he played queen takes g2. Knight d4 was also good. here comes the bishop, knight g5, but already there are no perpetual checks. For example, at this point, if I move like queen h5, then we have a queen on g2. We can play queen g4 check, yeah. c4 is already a desperation, and without much efforts then black realized the advantage, and then comes this marvelous bishop d7 move and white resigned. A very beautiful game. I'm sure you enjoyed it. Feel free to share with your friends as well. Let them know about this beauty. This game is truly an amazing one. I came across it in Sergei Varankov's marvelous book Masterpieces and Dramas of the Soviet Championships, and yes, that book is really interesting. There are too many interesting stories and games you can find. In the end, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to win with the white pieces. As usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in my next video. Take care.